Hello yarn friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make these super warm, cozy, crocheted slippered socks. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Now for the materials to make these cozy, comfy slipper socks, we will want a super bulky yarn, so a 6-weight yarn. I'm using this really soft velvet, I believe it's Bernat velvet blanket yarn. You will need a J crochet hook, a 6mm, this is a 5.75, but a 6mm or a J crochet hook, a tapestry needle. You will want a stitch marker. I have this cute little boba stitch marker. Go ahead and check the description down below. Heathered Yarn Co. makes these. And then I just have a clover little hook to cut my yarn. Let's go ahead and jump into today's tutorial. Before we do begin, I just want to note how we will be making this sock. So we will be starting at the toe. We will make a tube for our toe part. From there, we will make our heel, make a few rows for the ankle, and then we will go ahead and finish up the ankle cuff up here. So that's how we will be working this pattern. We will be making 2 of these. I've already went ahead and made one. I'm going to make the second one on camera with you guys. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Now to begin, we are going to start with a magic ring or a magic loop. If you don't know how to do that, you can go ahead and click the video link right above here, and I do demonstrate on how to do that. You can always start with a chain and work inside of that by connecting the 2 parts. But I'm going to start with a magic loop. From here, we are going to make 8 single crochets into that loop. Now, you want to do this a little bit loosely when you go to tighten this magic ring. Sometimes it can get a little hard and your yarn can break. But there I've made 3 stitches, so go ahead and make your 8 stitches and meet me back here. Now that you have your 8 single crochets, we are going to be working in the round for a few rows, and then a few rows we will be joining and chaining. But for this row, we are going to be joining or working in the round. So we're going to place 2 single crochets into this first stitch. I will grab my stitch marker and go ahead and put that in there for this first one. And then you want to go ahead and add another single crochet back into that same space. Okay, so now row 2 here, we are going to be working 2 single crochets into every single stitch. So at the end of row 2, you will have a total of 16 stitches. So go ahead and work this row and meet me back here. Now, moving on to row 3, this is going to be our last increase row. Into our first stitch there, sorry about that, we want to place 1 single crochet and replace our stitch marker. Now into the next stitch, we will place 2 single crochets into that stitch. So this will be a standard increase row. Here into the following stitch, we will place 1 single crochet. And then into the following stitch, we will place 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So we will do that all the way around. By the end of row 3, you should have a total of 24 stitches. Work this row, and I will meet you back here for row 4. Here we are for row 4. Now rows 4 through 19, we are simply going to place 1 single crochet into every single stitch. So for the next 16 rows, all you want to do is do 1 single crochet into each stitch. So that's going to start forming the tube for the lower portion of your foot. Now if you have a smaller foot, feel free to do less rows. If you have a larger foot, feel free to add rows. But for my foot, which is about a size 8, 8.5, I did a total of 19 rows from the very toe until we start working the heel. But rows 4 through 19, like I said, will just be a single crochet all the way through, no increases. So go ahead and work the appropriate rows that you need for your foot, or you can just go off my sizing and just do the total of 16 more rows. And I will meet you back here for row 20. This is what it should be looking like once you have your total rows done. So your 16 rows, total of 19 from the toe up. Now the next part that we're going to be working on is actually going to be the heel portion. So in order to do this, we are just going to work a flat panel for a total of 8 rows. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Now into this first stitch, we are just going to place a normal single crochet. And I like to put the stitch marker back in there. Now for a total of 12 single crochets, okay, so the next 11, because we've already done one, we're going to do just single crochets, and this is going to be the start of our heel. So we have 1, 2, into the next stitch, 3, to the next 4. So we're just placing 1 single crochet into the total of 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So go ahead and do that for a total of 12 stitches and meet me back here. Okay, so I've made my 12th stitch. Now we're actually just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. So now we're going to work a few rows. We're going to do 8 rows in total of just single crochet. So we chained up and turned. Now into this first stitch right here is where we are going to place our first single crochet. So there's 1. Now we're going to place 1 single crochet into every stitch until we get back to our stitch marker, and we will also place 1 right there. So go ahead and do that. You'll have a total of 12 single crochets, and then you want to do this for a total of 8 rows. So we've already done 1 row. This going back is going to count as our second row. So do a total of 8. If you feel that you need less for your heel, you can definitely do less if you're doing a smaller size. But if you're following along with my row count and stitch count, go ahead and do a total of 8 rows for the heel. At the end of every row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. So go ahead and do those, and I'll meet you back here. This is what it should be looking like after you get your 8 rows done for your heel. Now, what we want to do at this point is we aren't going to chain or anything, but we are going to flip our work, and we're actually going to slip stitch across the next 6 stitches. You don't want to do this too tightly, and this first stitch is a little bit tricky, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this brings us to the center of our sock, of our toe here. And if you see, this is where the outside stitches are. This is going to be the inside here. Now what we want to do is we want to actually fold the heel out and away from our tube. Okay, so here's our tube. And when we fold this, we want to make sure that we're folding it away. So not in towards the way of, you know, our foot here. We want to make sure that we're moving it away from the tube, okay? Now at this point, you want to line up your edges. You want to have your work facing like this so that you have your tube towards your right hand, and your work is folded out towards your left hand, okay? Now we are going to line up here, and we are just going to slip stitch across these stitches. So we want to make sure that we line up right at the edge here, and we're going to go through both sides of our work and pull through. Now we're going to do that 5 more times, because remember we had a total of 6 stitches here. So there was 1, here is 2, 3, 4, 5, and our last one will be right here for 6. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Now what we want to do is we want to fold this back in, okay? So we have our tube where our foot's going to go in towards our right hand, and we just want to pop this just like that, okay? So now we have our heel and our foot part worked, and where we sewed, it's now on the inside. We didn't have to cut off our work. We don't have to reattach anywhere. We're just going to continue on with our crocheted slipper sock. So now we've done the heel. So now we just need to work a couple rows for our ankle. To begin our ankle, we are just going to chain up 1 stitch. And I like to put one right in the center here. So here's our first stitch. And this stitch mark over here, we don't need it over here anymore because we now have started a new row. So now we need to pick up some stitches along the edges. So that first stitch, we want to go ahead and mark off with a stitch marker. Now what we want to do is add 8 stitches along the side of our heel here. We will have a total of 13 along the top, and then we're going to add 7. So we want to have a total of 29 stitches. So here's the 1. Now again, working along the edges, we're picking up stitches. Here's 2. 3. There's not necessarily a spot for these, but you do want to just make sure that you have 8. All right, so I went ahead and I worked along the side. Now I have a total of 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now right here is our first stitch, so we are going to add a stitch here, and there should be a total of 13 stitches along the top here. So go ahead and work along the top, and then we will work 8 more up the side. So go ahead and do that all the way around. Go through and check your stitch count. Make sure you have 29 single crochets all the way around. Here I went ahead and I got my first row done. We have a total of 29 stitches. That counts as our first row of our heel, or our ankle. So we're gonna do a total of 4 rows of single crochets. We've already done our first one, so you wanna do 3 more rounds of single crochets, working in the round, moving up your stitch marker as you go. Do 3 more rows, a total of 4 single crochet rows, and then meet me back here. We just simply start with a single crochet there. Go ahead and do the 3 more rows, meet me back here, and then we will start working up the rest of the ankle part. If you guys are still here along with me during this portion of the video, please make sure to leave me a comment and give this video a thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. I went ahead and I did the 4 rows here for the ankle. Now we're going to work the ankle cuff. Let's just call it the ankle cuff there. So what we want to do is we are actually going to slip stitch into the place where our stitch marker was. Sorry if you can hear kids in the background. My kid has a friend over. Okay, now once we've made that slip stitch, we are going to chain up 3. And this will count as a stitch here. Now moving on to the next stitch, we are simply going to place 1 double crochet, and we will do this all the way around. 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way until we get back to our chain 3. Now here we are at the end, and I want to let you guys know we do have a slip stitch and then our chain 3 right here. So you want to make sure that you have 29 stitches around. Remember, our chain 3 counts as a stitch. So go ahead and count, make sure you have 29. And then remember, this is going to look like a stitch, but it is a slip stitch. So into our chain 3, we want to slip stitch into the top of that. Okay, and now we are going to chain up 3. Excuse me. Now here is our first stitch. Into the next stitch, we are going to be working a front post double crochet. So we are going to not be working through the stitch here, but around the stitch. So we are going to yarn over. I will try to put a link up here to a video explaining it better. I don't have any, but if I can link to another video on YouTube, I will try to. So you are going to yarn over, and you see this is our next stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook from the front, and we're going to go around to the back and back out the front on the other side, okay? So we have like this loop. So I'll show you again. Into our next stitch. Remember, we're making a front post double crochet, so we're yarned over. We're going to go from the front of the stitch around to the back of the stitch. We are going to grab our yarn and we're going to pull it back through, okay, because we want to yarn over and pull up. So then yarn over and pull back around. Now you should have 4 loops, or 3 loops on your hook. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 more loops. So that is going to be our first front post double crochet. And then we are going to make a back post double crochet into the next stitch here. So in order to do a back post double crochet, we are going to go from the back to the front and then pull our yarn around, okay? So I'm going to show you. So we yarn over and we're going to insert our hook from the back side, popping out towards the front. We're coming around this next stitch and we're going back through on the other side right here. We're going to pull up our yarn. We're going to bring our hook back through all the way through and around, but I dropped it, and I do that a lot while I do this. So I'm going to show you again. So yarn over. We're going to go from the back around our post and back out. Now from the back side, we pull our yarn through and around and drop our loop. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, I hope that made sense. I'll show you a couple more times. Like I said, I'll try to link to a better video. I don't know if I'm explaining it very well. But let's go ahead and I'll try to get a little bit closer to do the front post and then the back post, because we're alternating between these two, a front post and back post throughout. So I've zoomed in a little bit closer in hopes that this will help. So here is our next stitch. We want to do a front post double crochet. So I yarned over, and for the front post, we go from the front around and back out through the front. Okay, so this makes it a front post. Now we're going to grab up our yarn, pull through. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so that is another front post double crochet. So you'll see it kind of pops out a little bit. Now, if you have too hard of a time with the back post double crochet, you can just simply crochet into the next stitch and then make a front post. It's gonna maybe come out a little bit different. It won't pop to the back as much, but if you can only do the front post double crochet, it is okay to change up the pattern a little bit. So you do have that option. Now we're gonna do a back post double crochet. So here is our next post. Now we yarn over, and now we're gonna go from the back side to the front of the stitch, back through the hole on the other side till our hook is pointing from towards the inside here. Now we're gonna grab our yarn and we're gonna pull it back through to where this portion here is, okay? So pull, pull. You get it through. There we go. Okay, I hope that made sense. Now we're gonna yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so that is how you do your front post and back post double crochets. You can rewind this video if you need to watch again how to do your front post and your back post, but you're going to do that all the way until you get back to your chain 3 here. We are going to alternate between front post and back post double crochets. And if, like I said, if you have an issue doing the back post double crochet and you have an easier time just doing this front post double crochet, it is much easier, I feel like, than the back post. Just do a front post double crochet and then just double crochet on into the same stitch, into the next stitch here. and just do it normally. That's totally fine. Whatever works best for you. But I highly recommend trying to do your front post and back post double crochets. Once you kind of get it down and the feel for it, it becomes a little bit more natural and you can just kind of plow on through these stitches. So we want to do, let me double check on how many rows we're doing of front post and back post. Okay, so we are actually going to be doing a total of 7 rows of front post, back post double crochets. But at the end of this row 2, I will meet you back here. I'll show you how to finish off the row and start row 3. In total, we will have 8 rows of these posts, and the reason we will have 8 rows is because our first row of double crochets actually pops out here, but we don't see that till the second row. But there's going to be a total of 7 rows of this repeat. So total of 8 rows for the cuff. We are back for row 3 for our cuff. Now for row 3, it is just going to be a repeat of row 2. So we will slip stitch and chain up 3. Now, as of right now, we always end with a back post double crochet. Okay, so we are going to be doing a front post into our front post double crochets. You'll see they pop out quite a bit here. And into our back post double crochet right here, we will do a back post. And then into the front posts, you will do front post. Into the back post, you'll do back post. So we are going to repeat that all the way around for row 3. So rows 3 and 4, we are just going to do this normally, where we end with a back post double crochet. Okay, so go ahead and do rounds 3 that we're on right now, and 1 more round just like this, ending with a back post double crochet, and then meet me back here for rounds 5 through 8. Perfect. Great job, you guys. Now we are here at row 5. Go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4. We have completed 4 rows of our heel so far, or our cuff part. Excuse me, not our heel, our cuff. So now what we want to do, moving on to row 5, it is going to be the same as the rest of the rows until the very last stitch. So I want you guys to go ahead and work this row normally. When you get to the end of row 5, do not work this back post double crochet. Stop at this front post and meet me back here for the end of row 5. Now here we are at the end of row 5, and we've worked our front post double crochet. We have 1 more back post double crochet and our chain 3 here. Now the reason we're going to do this is because I want to tighten up our cuff just a little bit at the top. So we are going to skip this. We are going to skip this back post double crochet, and we are simply going to make our slip stitch into the chain 3 and slip, and then chain up 3, and then rows 6, 7, and 8, so the next 3 rows, when we end our rows, we will be ending with this front post double crochet. Okay, so we will no longer be ending with the back post. So originally, throughout the rows, if you were to look, when we count, our front post double crochet count is going to be exactly the same. The only thing that's going to be different is the back post count will be 1 less, but you will not be able to notice anywhere when you look at this pattern. So continue to do the next 3 rows just as you've been doing. So we did our chain 3. We're going to start with our front post double crochet like normal, back post double crochets, and we're going to work like normal, except we will end with that front post. So go ahead and do that for the next 3 rows, and I will meet you back here and we will be completed with this sock slipper thing. Here we are at the end of our row 8. We are simply going to slip stitch chain up one, and then you want to leave a long enough tail to sew in. I like to leave quite a bit of a tail with this kind of yarn. You chained up one, so then you just go ahead and pull through, make a little knot, and then I like to go ahead and tie one more time. So just like that. And there you have it. You want to go ahead and sew in your ends. Go ahead and make your second sock, and then you are all done. You have completed your little slipper socks. Congratulations, you guys. Thanks for coming along with me on how to make this really super cute crochet slipper sock. These make really great Christmas gifts. Honestly, this pair is going to go to my sister because she loves the color purple. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if it was easy to follow along with this tutorial. Check the description box down below. I do have some links for some videos, and you can shop Amazon through my link there. It does really help my channel out so that I can keep bringing these videos to you. Anyways, thanks again, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial from Dream9Design, and I will see you all next time.